Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we're looking at this time is the Nishida Shidogami or white number 1 polished Nakiri 170mm knife. This knife has a core steel of Shidogami or white paper number 1, a reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi, which takes a screaming sharp edge and is really very pleasurable to sharpen. The heat treat's about 60-61 Rockwell on that core steel, and the construction is a 3-layer sandwich, and what they've got is soft iron cladding on either side of that core steel, and you can see the core steel showing through at the edge here. They grind these pretty thin, and one of the telltale signs of that at the edge is how much core steel is showing through right there at the edge. And they do have kind of a semi-mirror polish on them. You'll try to keep the reflections down as best I can, but so they've done a polish on these. But the entire blade is reactive, and the cladding can sometimes on these be more reactive than the core steel. So you'll have to keep up with these knives. These are knives you're going to want to keep dry, clean. You may have to polish them once in a while to take some patina off. But they do perform well. The statistics on these will vary just a little bit from knife to knife, but this particular one is about 179 grams or 6.3 ounces, so it's got some heft to it. And the edge length right around 170 millimeters. The overall length about 315 millimeters or 2.4 inches. The spine thickness, again, will vary, but this one's about 3.3 millimeter over the top of the back of the blade. And then it thins out after that a bit, and then just holds 2 and maybe about 2.5 all the way through to the end of the blade. The blade height on this one's about 50 millimeter, pretty much all the way across. And then this line of knives in general is a bit beefy. They've got this particular one's really stiff, and but they've got a good thin grind behind the edge. We're going to take a close-up look at that. So they've got pretty good performance that you would not expect necessarily given the kind of the beefiness of the knife. So it's real stiff, real confidence inspiring on the cutting board. The handle is their good, really nice kind of standard oval rosewood with a black packerwood ferrule that we've seen in a lot of knives. And this particular one's got a very smooth finish on it, nice handle install. Circumference is about 77 or about 3 inches. 77 millimeters, about 3 inches, where the ferrule meets the main part of the handle, which is pretty standard size. And these will vary a little bit too, but this one's got a little bit of a notch there into the neck. This is called the choil, the back of the blade, into the neck towards the handle, that you can stick your finger in there for a very comfortable pinch grip position. So let's take a look. Let's see, I guess we'll do balance point before I bring in the close-up. So here's the balance point of the blade. It's going to be just slightly blade heavy from a pinch grip. Here's my pinch grip, and it's just a little in front of that. So it gives you some chopping power. Let's take a look at a close-up of the knife. Again, kind of a semi-polished finish. I'm going to flip it over. We've got, besides the fingerprints, we do have some hand-chiseled, looks to me like hand-chiseled kanji on there. It's pretty small, but I think it's hand-chiseled. And then you can see the grind. So the grind pretty much comes in a little bit above where that line demarcation is. So that's not a hard edge like a Masakage Yuki would have. It just kind of flows convex down, around to slightly above that into it. So it's a pretty smooth convex grind into the edge, and these things are pretty thin on the edge. The fit and finish is pretty good. They've got a polished spine with a little bit of relief on it, as well as the choil, so they're pretty well, very comfortable right out of the box. Here is your out-of-the-box edge. I'm sorry, it's out-of-the-box edge profile in terms of a choil shot, so it's pretty thin at the very edge. And I'd say these are about maybe a 5 out of 10. They've got just kind of pretty average, decently ground bevel, which is pretty sharp. You can, of course, get this much, much sharper being Shidogami number 1. Here's your profile on the cutting board. And these are pretty flat. So this one pretty much just rolls right into kind of a stop. And it's pretty doggone flat. 2/3 of the way on the blade. So this is a nice flat. If you like chopping, this is a really good example for that. Not much rocking going on here, but you do have a tip that's rounded, so you could rock into that. Although, again, it's not a gradual change. It just pretty much hits the board and stops. So very chop friendly, some push-pull strokes, not much for rocking. But Nakiris generally are not for rocking anyway. So there's your profile. So again, these blades, they've got thin grinds at the edge. They perform quite well. Nice looking blades. The finish is actually fairly durable for the style of mirror polish that it is. And just a nice line of knives. So again, an all reactive blade, so you got to make sure you want that. But this is the Nishida Shidogami #1 polished Nakiri 170mm knife.